incursion by the Israeli forces continues in Lebanon region, particularly the southern suburbs where ground incursion has been taking place for the last 24 hours. Let's also tell you about that 2006 UNSC resolution that was passed, which has been violated time and again, both by the Israeli forces and the Hezbollah group, which has led to a state such as this when we are seeing that there is no de-escalation either by the Israeli forces or by the Hezbollah group. So this is the Litani River that we were talking about. Israel and Lebanon are divided by this Litani River. In fact, this is the buffer zone that was created to ensure that there is no escalation on part of the Israeli forces and the Lebanon group in the southern region where the Israeli forces had entered, and in Lebanon being the border area where Israeli forces had also reached. In fact, it was in 2006 that the UNSC resolution was passed, which was done to ensure that this is going to be the buffer zone, ensuring that there's going to be a significant deployment both by the UN forces and the Lebanese army. In fact, since then, we've seen that there's been no sort of de-escalation and there's been constant violation by both the ends. So, yes, that being said, Lebanon and Israel having been divided by that buffer zone, which has constantly been violated by both the sides, by the Hezbollah and the Israeli forces. In fact, let's also tell you more about the significance of Litani River, which divides the Lebanon territory from the Israel territory. So it's a source of water in the southern Lebanon region. So yes, Litani River holds a lot of significance as the southern population in Lebanon is heavily dependent for agriculture and as a source of water. So the river is crucial lifeline for agriculture as a water source as well for people particularly living in the southern Lebanon region, which is precisely where the war is happening by the Israeli forces and the Hezbollah group. Let's put out other details as well. When we talk about the Litani River, it signaled full cessation of hostilities. So it was in 2006 that the resolution was passed to ensure that there is full cessation both by the Israeli forces and the Hezbollah group, which again did not happen. In fact, that being said, the Lebanese caretaker prime minister now says that they will adhere to that UNSC resolution and they will deploy the Lebanese army and the UN forces to ensure there is significant de-escalation. Key maker in international agreement, beg your pardon. So that is the Litani River, the buffer zone were the international agreement key maker. Buffer zone between Hezbollah and Israel, which of course we've seen a violation of for the past many years. Agreement has frayed since October 7th attack. So yes, this is important. After the 7th of October attack that was launched by the Hamas group targeting Israeli territory in which more than 1,200 civilians lost their lives, it's been since then that there's been violation by the Hezbollah group and the Hamas terror group, given that Hamas has had a solid backing of the Hezbollah group and Iranian armed forces, of course, patrolling by UN and Lebanese army troops. This was also one of the important takeaways of that UNSC resolution that was passed. This was again violated. It's Lebanon caretaker prime minister who says that it's only now that the country will be following this. If at all, there is de-escalation by the Israeli forces, and if they move back from the Lebanon region, Israel-Lebanon border region resembles a war zone. So the buffer zone, which was to serve as a de-escalation point between both the sides, has now turned into a war zone, both by the Israeli forces and the Hezbollah group.